Well, let's move on. They had obviously 11 other fights out in New York, New Jersey. Let's go to that co-main event between Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. What did you guys think of this fight? Some people said it was boring. I just saw some lights being flashed. Sean Strickland said it was boring, but I guess Costa packs that type of power, and he had to establish something with the leg kicks that you just thought, well, can Sean Strickland hang on for 25 minutes and not get finished? Nolan, how about you, man? What did you think of this fight? Was it appealing to you?
It was frustrating for a number of reasons, and I think some of those, in some ways, that's good for Sean Strickland, and in other ways, for the viewership, it's bad. I think it's going to be tough for people to get excited about his fights if this continues. But on the other hand, he's so good, man. He's so good at doing this. He confuses his opponents. So why would he ever stop doing it? Paulo Costa was, pretty clearly frustrated, I think, with what he was seeing out there. He was presenting, even less offense than Sean was. At least Sean was moving forward. He had his flurries. He had his moments. He landed kind of a knockdown sort of blow. He landed a nice hard jab that put Costa on his back foot. He landed some nice head kicks there at the end. But yeah, man, he's just, what a frustrating guy to fight. Sometimes it can be frustrating to watch, but he is damn good. He is an excellent fighter, an elite fighter. And I think he's made his case to have his next fight be the title fight. Granted, will the UFC leapfrog him with if Hamzat goes out there and rips through Rob Whittaker? Are they gonna leapfrog him there? You obviously got to book Izzy versus Dricus before that. So there's a lot going on here, and Sean might be sitting out for a while, but he did say at the post-fight press conference that he's very willing to do that, even if it meant waiting out for 2 title fights or so. So he's been, for a guy at his level, he's been fairly active in recently. So maybe a break would do him well. But yeah, I think to me, there's intrigue in him fighting Izzy again. There's intrigue in him fighting Dricus again. There's intrigue in him fighting Rob or Chimaev. Like, he's that guy that's right there. And on any given night, he could beat any of those guys. So for me, if we know the UFC doesn't love when guys sit out, if they make an exception for Sean Strickland being a company man, as he called it, I would be fine with him getting, whenever he steps back in the cage, being across from the guy that's holding that title.
Goes, should he be next? Did he earn it, or those names that got thrown out? Whittaker, Hamzat, old Jared Cannonier. He's got to win over Strickland. I think he's won 4 or 5. What are your thoughts?
I think there's a lot of people that can kind of steal the party from him. It wasn't one of those performances that I think that makes Dana happy. It's just difficult, the way he comes in so high with his guard and he uses his front kick as a jab. It's like, if nobody's going to play ball with you, if Paulo Costa is not going to strike, he's not going to counter strike. And we kind of saw something like that coming. And if you really, really want that shot, you got to do what you kind of did in the last minute of the fight, and that's be aggressive and get that finish. I could see it maybe going to him, but honestly, I don't think things are going to work out in his favor. And I think time has just shown that if you sit around, it doesn't always work out for you.
Mike Bond, is Paulo Costa still a star? Can we still be putting him in big fights, or does he just need to become a gatekeeper and get a winning streak to get back to that level, I guess, that we all think he's at, because he's so popular on social media?
Yeah, I guess it depends on a lot of things. His contract, how much is he being paid? UFC isn't going to, give him too many layups. And if that's the case, it would be nice for sure to see him get a confidence builder back. You kind of hear Joe Rogan on the broadcast pointing out, like, he hasn't been the same guy since he lost to Israel and had his first loss. I believe he's 1-4, including that title fight loss back on Fight Island all those years ago. So yeah, he hasn't necessarily been that same guy we saw mowing down the division and just destroying people like Johnny Hendricks and going to war with Yoel Romero. That guy seems like a bit of a thing of the past right now. We see glimpses of it, like here against Marvin Vettori. That was an insane fight those two had, but it seems like something's missing, and he seems to at least acknowledge that. You see the social media posts he put out last night, basically saying, like, I'm not going to care anymore about points and all these different things. And I can see that, but it's tough, man. Like, what do they say, right? Like, exhaustion makes cowards of everyone. And he seems to be aware, especially in a 5-round fight with Sean Strickland, right? Like, cardio is playing a huge, huge part in a fight like that if you're not able to get an early knockout. So he's conscious of these things, and he's trying to taper his style around that, but the results haven't been there. So I guess something does have to change up for him if he wants to get back on the winning track, have that momentum. I would like to see him take a step down, maybe a much more winnable fight for him. Maybe you do like him versus Kevin Holland or something like random like that. There's fights to be made that I think would still be exciting and main event worthy, all that stuff where you can maximize his name. But right now, yeah, he doesn't seem like he's that guy who's going to be a true title threat. And this was always a really, really tough matchup for him with Sean Strickland. The upside was there if you could win. He's obviously ranked number 1, but the downside is kind of where we're at now.
Sky V's and El Daddy says Strickland fought an intelligent fight, deep kicks the entire match to manage the distance and avoid more calf kicks. Joseph Boza says that's 4 out of 5 losses for Costa. Interesting to see what he gets next. I think Mike laid it out nicely. Frozen Like Elsa says Deshaun needed a TKO KO finish to get that title fight. So he didn't put an exclamation point is kind of what he's saying. Brian John says just wish Strickland would stop saying that the fight is going to be to the death and then just sparring. Not a bad point there.
Yes.
It's sometimes he's his own worst enemy. Goes, make it quick. What do you have?
No, I was just gonna say I get him holding back a little bit, because of the cardio and all that, withholding the strike count. But did he have to do that on the baseball diamond? That was an awful pitch, dude.
It was an awful pitch.